What up, my dudes? Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know if you want to be a part of the Discord community that I got going on, all you got to do is DM me on Instagram at Spencer Turley, no spaces and no capital letters. I know you like that shit, Barneasy. But yeah, just hit me up on a DM on Insta, and I will get you in my Discord. I've been starting getting on there a lot more. We play all different kinds of games. I get on there and play Warzone, PUBG, MX Simulator, Reflex. I play all those kind of games, and I'm basically, normally when I'm in there, I'm just chilling in a, general chat. I'm not in like a, locked off chat or anything, so anybody can join in and play games with us and have fun. So, yeah, be sure and hit me up on Insta. I'll get you in there. But either way, 2020 Buddy Creek. Okay. So we're starting to get to some of these later rounds of the Replica DLC tracks for this game. And what I'm going to do here is ride a couple laps on this and then go back and refresh my memory on how the previous one was, the 2019 version. Oh, my God. Got to be a little careful of that. All right. But yeah, we got a lot of new news coming out as well about the Real Life Outdoor National Series. I'll probably try to put that in a different video. I got a couple of things I want to talk about on that. But yeah, we got live streams coming really soon. Got a lot of cool stuff. I've got a lot of stuff ordered for that right now. Got a lot more MX Simulator content coming. I know a lot of you boys have been asking me, like, what the hell's going on, Spence? You just, like, stopped playing MX Sim or what? Like, no, I definitely did not stop playing that. I'm actually starting to play it more now than I ever have. So we're back on that daily MX Sim grind. So we'll be having all kinds of videos coming out, custom tracks coming back out on that again. I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes to try to, I'm going to be doing this whole thing with my custom tracks, going back and re-optimizing and renaming. I'll be doing some videos on that pretty soon as well. Going to be having a whole cool thing on that. So got a lot more stuff. Going to be getting into the track editing with the M-Excavator or whatever the hell that thing is on the track editor on Supercross Encore. So I'm going to take a look at that. They really need to add that track editor in All Out. Why have they not done that yet? I'm a little confused on that. They just added that new track editor to Encore, and a lot of people speculated they were doing that to test it out to see if they were going to be able to make it work in All Out, and it's got Steam Workshop support and all that. You really would think that they would do that at this point. Come on now, MX vs. ATV. Come on now, broski. It is a little bizarre to have a track editor so late in the life cycle of a game, though. That is a little bizarre. I think it worked really well for Reflex, just because of the fact of it was such a good, the most legendary arcade motocross game ever from the core. It worked to where they had it out on console for so long and then come out with a track editor on it later on PC, and it just kept the life of the game going for another decade. I don't think that can work quite as good on any other game as it did for Reflex, but it definitely will help, right? So, yeah, this track's looking pretty cool. I'm struggling to even remember at all what last year's Budds Creek was like in this game, so I'm definitely going to have to go run some laps on that just to take a look. So let me try to kind of memorize what I'm looking at here so I don't lose track of what's going on. But I don't think there was a whole lot of actual like big obstacle changes or big layout changes to the 2021 track maps of these outdoor tracks. I don't think there's a whole lot of big differences. So if they don't really like change up their pre-made rut designs and stuff like that, you might kind of run into that issue of, some of these tracks feeling very, very similar to last year's DLC that you got. I know it was like that on I think it was their Redbud track or whatever. God, man, when you start covering a bunch of different motocross games and they've all got different like replica tracks of different years, it gets really confusing really quick on what you're trying to remember and what you're trying to talk about. There's been 13, or I say 13, not 13. There's been like, I don't know, a solid, 8 or 9 years worth of outdoor replica tracks on MX Simulator, and every single year is a little bit different, you know what I mean? And then you get in here on All Out, and there's 2 different years of replica tracks, and then you get on Reflex, and there's replica national custom tracks on that game, and it can very easily get really confusing. But yeah, I'm also trying to do some things with obviously some more real life videos. Really wanting to get into that hardcore. I got a whole new camera for that. Trying to improve my mic quality. I've been having a few little weird issues with that. Gonna have that better really soon as well. So yeah, a lot of big stuff coming for the channel. Like I said, I didn't really explain a lot of this in that video saying I'm back, new setup and all that, but like, dog, it's on now. Like, it's like I gotta do it now. Like, quit my real life job to do it, moved out, did a lot of big life changes to do this. I try to not make it such a big deal. I tried to just start doing what I need to do. You know what I mean? I tried not to make it into too much of a thing, but you know, a lot of people don't really know why I like wasn't pro racing on sim and I stopped uploading videos and I, you know, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of bigger things going on behind the scenes, and once this all starts popping off and I'm doing the live streams and more face cams and more real life videos, you'll see what I've been doing behind the scenes. Okay, you guys remember that video I made at the very beginning of 2020 saying I got to do all these different things? Well, that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm in the works, trying to get everything going on that. So it just takes time to do shit, man. You know, it takes like time to get a bunch of videos built up, and so that you even can do that and still be consistently uploading. There's a lot of different things you got to do to even like set up to try different things and do different things. So it can be a little tricky, but okay. So let's go ahead and take a little look-ski back at the 19 version. The track doesn't feel bad though. Like, as far as on its own, it doesn't feel like a bad track. I just want to see how much it's really changed. Let's try to directly compare. Bates Creek, okay. And I'll just assume these original national replica tracks are based off of the 19 tracks. I'm not 100% if all of them really are, because they don't technically say it in the name of the track. So, oh shit, of course we're on like a totally different time of day. Let's try to get this on the same time of day, or it's going to be really hard to compare. Really wish they had the option to pick the time of day, like kind of like how with the milestone games you can do like cyclic, where it can be random, or you can just pick the time of day, you know, night, day, whatever. They really need a setting on here where it's like you can pick morning, middle of the day, evening, night. You can actually select that if you want to select it, you know, and then a cyclic or a random, something like that, you can also pick too. It's never a good thing to, you know, restrict options like that. That's never a good thing, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Oh my God. That was the worst first corner start of a race I've ever done in my entire life. Okay. Oh man. So yeah, I'm already kind of thinking that this is a little like smaller jumps, maybe not quite as much roughness. Everything seems a little bit smaller and smoother on this to me right off the bat, but I'm really going to have to like go back and forth and compare to really know that for sure. But that's kind of the trend they've been seeming to be doing anyways, is you know, like on their Loretta Lynn's track, like the newer one has a little bit bigger, like 10 Commandments. The roughness and ruts are a little bit bigger. It's not like a crazy difference or anything, right? But guess this section's pretty similar. Man, it's just hard to like really remember what you were just looking at, you know, because it is a slightly different like time of day effect. So let's see. I don't really think there's any, like I'm saying, any massive. I think this jump might have been a little bigger, like that jump face right there. But I really don't think that there is any massive, like, oh my God, there's a whole different, like, corner or a whole different layout area or a whole different whatever. I really don't think there's anything quite like that. I think it's all more like micro pre-made, you know, ruts and roughness differences. You know, micro it's all like small changes. I really don't think there's any big changes here. At least none that are really catching my eye or anything like that, right? And that's kind of been the trend so far. It's just very, very small changes from track to track on these, like comparing the last year's Replica Nationals to this year's Replica Nationals. Very small changes, like almost to the point where you wouldn't even notice it unless you really had like rode a bunch of laps on that last year's shit and then you came and rode on this, then you would notice it. But other than that, you're not even going to notice it. You're not even going to really notice a difference. Like, I really don't even notice a difference between the two. I really don't. We'll run one more lap here, and then I'll go back to that other one again. We'll see. But this is the technically last year's version. So it's not a bad track, though. I mean, I think it's a decent, both of them are decent tracks, right? Whereas, like, their Red Buds, I feel like they didn't have quite enough pre-made on those for a Red Bud in particular. But, like, for a Bud's Creek, I think these tracks are pretty much perfect as far as the, like, pre-made ruts, the way the roughness is, the way the scaling is, and the jump skill gap, and all that kind of shit. You know, you got some nice pre-made ruts in some areas, and then they kind of lighten up the pre-made ruts in some other corners. You know, it's not super hardcore in every corner, but in some corners it does get a little more hardcore. And I really like how they captured all the really tight sections of Bud's Creek here. You know, the really like twisty, windy, up and down, off-cambered rut corner type vibe. I think they really captured that pretty well on these tracks. So let's go back to the new one. Let's hope we get a decent time of day. But yeah, bro. Let's see what we can get. 2020 Buddy Creek. Down there at the creek. Okay. Let's load this baby. That's interesting. They said there's going to be like basically no load times on the new consoles. Interesting. Be interesting to see what those new consoles are all about. But all right, let's really try to compare here. Okay, so wasn't there actually pre-made ruts in that first corner on the year before? I think there was. I really think there was. I almost think they kind of changed this up right here a little bit. Like this whole like corner roller double. Yeah, this is all like these jumps are a little more peaked. And it's like they've got like ruts going up, kind of more like pre-made ruts going up the jump faces, it seemed like. This outside berm's a little bigger, I think, than the year before. So yeah, there definitely are some differences here, for sure. Now that I'm actually in here, let me look. All this is pretty similar. Yeah, it just seems like they might have added more like ruts going up jump faces. I feel like that year before track was a lot like flatter, smoother up the jump faces. This seems like they might have tried to, you know, just add more ruts up the jump faces themselves. Like right here, yeah, they changed that jump up a little bit. It's like they added just a little bit more of a peak to it. Whoa. That rut, inside berm rut, might be a little bigger on this one. I don't know if that was actually... Let's look. Yeah, they definitely made like this roughness right through here a little bit bigger. So yeah, there are some changes for sure. I feel like there's more changes on this than there was the Red Bud track. That jump face might be a little bit bigger, but it's just little things like that. You know, it's like making the outside berm 10% bigger, or making just a few little pre-made type ruts going up the jump faces, or a little bit more roughness in a certain spot. You know, it's all like little shit like that. It's not any like really big layout changes or like a super crazy different jump or anything like that, which is just kind of to be expected in part of it when they're 100% going off the track map. You know, they can't just magically make up a section that's not there. So they can only do so much when it's like that. But I feel like in real life they need to, every year on every track, they need to make some kind of a change to it, like some kind of a different jump or a different corner section or a different, and some of them are pretty good about doing that, but some of these tracks that don't change for like 3-4 years at all, none of the jumps, none of the corners, none of the layout actually changes on the track map for years and years and years. That's a problem, especially when you get into these, you know, making replica DLC tracks for games. It's just like, shit, kind of get on the same old over and over and over. So either way, decent track though. It fits the Budds Creek vibe all the way around. You can really snag some. I love how you snag some of these ruts. Reminds me of playing on some of those older MX simulator tracks where they actually had pre-made. Damn, them days were fun, wasn't they? Like back in like 15, 16, 17, even into like 14, 15, 16, 17 on MX Sim. There's a lot of cool vibes you got on some of those tracks where you really had to snag the inside on an off-camber corner on this track. Made it really fun. But yeah, hit me up on Insta at Spencer Turley, no spaces and no capital letters, to get in my Discord. And I'll see you boys on the next video. Later, dudes.